Hi, I'm Jeff Wheeler, an English professor at Long Beach City College, where next semester I'll be teaching the Old Testament as a work of literature. The Hebrew Bible is the central text for three of the world's major religious traditions. But this won't be a religion class. It's a class about stories, about how they're told, how they're passed down, and how they fit together with other stories. These are stories everyone in our culture should know. If you are interested in art, music, or literature, you'll find these stories told and retold in many creative forms. It's the book that tells the story of law that undergirds our political systems. It's a book of history that uses story to teach philosophy. Debates about how to interpret these ancient stories are often behind today's headlines. But you should take this class because these are some of the best stories you'll ever read. You may wonder what it means to read these stories as literature. The first part of the Hebrew Bible is called the Torah, which we translate in English as the law. And religious adherents read this book asking a fundamental question: how does this text teach me to behave? In this class, we ask, how is the story told? Let me give you a quick example, a remarkable short story from the book of Judges. Abimelech was one of 72 sons of Gideon. Since his mother had been a slave, Abimelech's claim to rule the clan was not nearly as strong as his ambition. So he eliminated the competition by killing his 70 brothers. As you may suspect, not all people consider mass fratricide the best qualification for leadership. So Abimelech mounted a ruthless campaign against those who failed to embrace him as the new king. In the first city that resisted, he slaughtered everyone inside, razed the city to the ground, and sowed the fields with salt. Some survivors who heard the news hid in a nearby tower. Abimelech cut brushwood, laid it at the base of the walls, and set the tower aflame, killing more than 1,000 women and men. In the next city, all the inhabitants took refuge in their own strong tower. They secured the doors and went up to the rooftop. As Abimelech approached to set fire to this tower, a woman on the roof threw a millstone down on his head and fractured his skull. Abimelech called hurriedly to his armor-bearer and said, "Draw your sword and dispatch me, or it will be said of me, a woman killed him." So the man ran Abimelech through, and he died. We can't help but admire the forethought of this terrorist king. Struck on the head and close to death, he thinks of his story. How will I be remembered? His greatest fear is that he will be judged weak and a poor strategist. They might say that some nameless woman single-handedly stopped his merciless campaign of violence. By asking the soldier to kill him, he hopes that the record will show that he died on his own terms, at the hands of an armed man. But the crafty storyteller records it all: the nameless woman, the handy millstone, and the king desperate to control the narrative. It's hard to imagine a more despicable villain. He's cowardly, treacherous, prideful. Or a more satisfying ending, because we hear the full story, not the edited version that Abimelech hoped would survive. Join me this fall for more battles, more treachery, more inspiring acts of heroism, and of storytelling. The Old Testament as literature.